Good day and welcome back to the Family Cyber Clinic. Compliments of the season. Today we're discussing the term doxing. It's not a common term, certainly not one that I believe we've discussed on this platform. It's spelled D-O-X-X-I-N-G, can also be spelled D-O-X-I-N-G. And it is the searching for or publishing of private or identifiable information of an individual, our kids being the focus this week, with malicious intent. So you have someone who is harassing your young one, a form of cyberbullying, as you know, that gets their hands on private information of your young one and puts it on the internet without your young one's permission. That is what doxing is, and it is harmful. And so to help protect our children from being victims, we have come up with 4 things that they can do, or you can do with them, to help prevent that. Okay? So we've defined it. It's clear what it is. It is a form of harassment. It is cyberbullying, and we don't want that for our young ones. And so the first thing, obvious first thing, is to sit down with your young one and tell them in the first place that private information is private. Private and personal information has to stay private, and they have no business being on the internet. They don't have to share personal or private information on their social media platforms. So they should keep that private. And if they do, that's one step to making sure that that information is not picked up by these rogues or doxers who only mean harm. Okay? So that's a discussion we must have with our young ones. And then the second is to make sure that they're setting different passwords on their social media platforms. And by passwords, I mean complex and strong passwords, not easily guessed passwords. Set different ones on your social media platforms so that if their system is compromised, you know, the rogue or the doxer does not have access to information that is just lying there. So it's important that they set strong and complex passwords and make sure that they're different across their social media platforms. The third point is location services. Location services are turned on for most social media apps. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. So you can go onto their system. In fact, if I could pause for 2 or 3 seconds, I'll get you to do that right now as I'm telling you. Go to their system and turn off location service. If you don't know how, please put it in the comments and I'll create a video, or I may point you to a video that's on the portal already. But it's important that location services for those social media apps are turned off. You note that I am only focusing on the social media part of doxing. The other variations of doxing that are out of the scope of the channel. So we're only focusing on social media and we're focusing on our young ones. Okay, that's why I'm focusing on that in case you were asking. All right, so we've touched on making sure you sit down with them and have a discussion. The second is make sure that you're using strong and complex passwords and are using different ones across their social media platforms. And the third is turning off location services for those social media apps so that their location, the location of your young ones, is not out there, because that's what location services will do. And we don't want that information to get into the wrong hands. Okay. The fourth, and in no doubt, no way, the least of them all, is if you're capable and you understand how these things work, is enable a VPN, virtual private network. If you enable a virtual private network, a VPN, that will keep the information on your device private. So things like location services don't get broadcast, IP addresses and all that. So information like real names, addresses, date of birth, family, pets, name, things that are just private. Those are the things that we're talking about. They have no business being on the internet. Keep them private. And in fact, for good measure, I'll give you a fifth. Where at all possible, use only nicknames on your social media platforms. Nicknames. I hasten to add, perhaps fake names. And that includes even your email address. There was a time that was frowned upon, but the clinic is supporting that you use a nickname at gmail.com, for example. That will keep your information private. So those who are very keen on privacy, and I suppose we all need to be that way, just make sure you're doing these things, especially on the devices that your young ones own. Make sure that you're locking it down by suggesting those things to him or her. All right? That's why we exist. We just exist to flag these things to make sure that you are, equipped to go on this journey with your young ones. I'll use this time to ask you, if you've not already done so, to subscribe to this channel. It encourages us to put out videos that will help you become stronger, a stronger teacher for those young ones, okay? I hope to see you at next week's live Q&A, where we have opportunities to discuss face to face, real time, okay? I've been your host, Lawrence Edem, until that day is upon us already, Saturday, the 18th of December. God bless and goodbye.